Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be joining these pieces to make this very beautiful dress. So if you have not seen the drafting of these pieces, you should check my previous video or check my description box for the link to the video. So check the channel for the description of how to draft all these pieces. For this video, we'll be joining these pieces together, stitching it together to make a very beautiful dress. So here we have the front top pieces and the band for the front, and we have the back top pieces and the back band for the back, and we also have these skirt pieces. We'll be using this for the gathers that is on the skirts. We have two pieces. We have this long one and the shorter one, okay? And then we also have these pieces that will cut out for the bow tie that is going to be on the shoulder of this dress. So let's start stitching. I'm going to start my stitching from the front pieces. The first thing I want to do for my front pieces is to open up my lining, because I have two pieces of this, right? I'll open up my lining and I'll place my main fabric right side facing the lining like this. I'm going to stitch with about 1/2 inch across the neckline and the armhole as well. I'm going to be leaving the shoulder open. I'll be leaving this part open. After turning my front pieces, this is what it's looking like, okay? I'm going to go ahead and trace out my dart. So I'll pin down along this dart line. Flip it over to the back. I'll trace the pins, and I'll do the same thing for these second pieces. Now that I'm done tracing out my darts, I'm going to go ahead and take out my darts for the front pieces. After taking out my darts for the front pieces, this is what it's looking like. The next thing I'm going to do is to work on the back piece. To work on these back pieces, this is what we have. I'm going to separate my lining and my main fabric. So this is my lining. I'll open it up, and just like I did for the front, I'll be placing my fabric right side facing the lining. The next thing I'm going to do is to take this to my machine. I will stitch along the neckline to this point, then stitch this way to this point. I will do the same thing here. I will stitch this neckline with 1/2 inch, and then I will stitch along the armhole area. After turning the back piece with my lining, this is what I have. I'm going to place my front piece on this back piece, right side facing each other. I'm going to place it this way. So this is the back pieces, right? I'll be placing my front pieces like this, right side over the back piece, and I'll be taking in my shoulders like this. So the front piece is inside this back piece. I'm going to go ahead and stitch close the shoulders, and I'll be doing the same thing for this other part. Just place the front pieces on the back pieces this way. Put your hand in between the main fabric and the lining of the back pieces and flip it inside out, okay? So now that I have the front pieces inside, I'll go and stitch it close. I'll just trim off this excess that I have here and turn it over. So this is what it should be looking like when you get to this point. The next thing I will do is to introduce these bands. So this is the band for the back, and this is the one for the front pieces. Before I will notch this point. Now this is what we have. I will place this thing right side facing the right side, and then the second pieces will go under. The second pieces will go under. So this point that is notched is going to be where these two parts of the front, you know, the front pieces is 2. I'm going to make sure it's in the middle, and I'll pin it down. The fabric is in the middle. and then I'm covering it with the two band pieces. Okay, so now I will stitch with 1/2 inch across to this point and flip it over to the back. I will be doing the same thing. I have two pairs of these, two for each side. So this two goes here, this two goes here. I will place this one right side facing the fabric and place this one under like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and stitch the band to the upper part. For my top pieces, this is what is looking like after attaching it to the band pieces. The next thing I'm going to do is to shape the sides. So I'm going to place this back side on the front side like this. So I'm going to place it, make sure that the armhole is together. When I was cutting, I added 1 inch stitching allowance, so I'll be taking out that allowance here. After shaping the sides, this is what is looking like for the top pieces, right? I'm going to keep this aside and I'll be working on the skirt pieces. Right, this is the skirt pieces that we have. These shorter pieces, I'm just going to go ahead and hem it all the way to the end. After hemming these shorter pieces, I'm going to take my needle and thread. From one end, I'm going to make loose stitches just like this all the way to the other end, just to gather it all the way to the other end. Now that I'm done gathering these skirt pieces, this is what is looking like. I'm going to bring the top part of this skirt pieces, which is this one. You see how long it is? It's at least 3 to 4 times my hip round measurements. Now this is the back and this is the front. I'm going to distribute this gather evenly. I'll be stitching it to this other part of the skirt. So this shorter one, I'll attach it to this longer one and I will stitch all the way to the other end. After attaching the smaller pieces to this bigger one, this is what it's looking like. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat what I did for this small one for this big one, right? Just make loose stitches from this end to the other end. After working of my skirt pieces now, this is what I have. I'm going to bring my top pieces and I will find the midpoint. I'll also find the midpoint of these gather pieces. Now I will place it right side facing each other and hold it down. From this midpoint, I'm going to spread this gather to this end. This is what it looks like after joining the gathers to the top pieces from inside. And this is what the front is looking like. Okay, the next is to cover these rough edges with lining. When I was introducing this video, I told you guys I will be using a black lining, but I did not like the color effect, the undertone that the black was giving the color, so I decided to change it to a red lining. So I will be using this red lining to cover up this point. So what I will be doing is I'll be placing this red lining this way, right? I'll place it this way and I will be stitching from this end. As I'm stitching, I will be pleating it, making very bold pleats, right? As I stitch, I pleat, I stitch, I pleat, I stitch, I pleat till I get to the end of this point. Then I'll flip it over. After fixing our lining, this is what it's looking like. The next thing I'm going to do is to work on the bow that is on the shoulders. Now this is the pieces that we'll cut out for our attachment on the shoulders. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to fold it into two, right side together, and I will stitch close this point, and I will leave like a little point here where I will be turning it over from. I will do it for the two pieces. Now after turning our pieces, this is what it looks like, right? I'll be attaching these pieces to my dress. Now this shoulder point, this place that the two shoulder meets, I'm going to place this belt like something. Let me find the midpoint. I'm going to place it here and stitch it down, and this other one I'll also place it here and stitch it down. Okay, I will stitch it down on the line. Now after attaching it to the side, I already tied this one. I'm just going to make a bow with it like this. Okay, so this is the bow. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and stitch on the zipper that I will be using. I'm going to go ahead and fix my zipper, and I will be closing it off. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, subscribe so that when next I post a tutorial, you'll be the first to get a notification on it. This is the final look. Like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.